And now a quick word from our sponsors here at Viral Hip Hop News. Man here from Viral Hip Hop News, letting my people know to go grab this bottle of miracle food right now. Shockerdoctor.org put together some of the best ingredients on God's green earth to help your immune system, give you a cleanse and reboot that your body deserves. Don't wait for your miracle. Grab it in Miracle Food right now. Let's go. Go purchase the original crime drama series by Daniel Webb, The House of Lazenberry, The House of Lazenberry 1978, and The House of Lazenberry, A Time to Heal at Archway Publishing or wherever books are sold right now.
Fat Joe and Ja Rule, man, we're going to talk about that today. Also, we're going to talk about Dakari Richardson, a shorter show than usual, but let's jump right into the festivities. Now, Sandman, he didn't get the chance to watch the Verzuz.
Nope.
I watched it pretty much top to bottom. You know, they had the DJs going in the beginning. People were a little frustrated. One of the DJs, he's playing a lot of old stuff. And then another DJ, I think it was DJ Technician, he came in and burned the place down. It was fire. And then we seen that Timbo pretty much announced in the chat that it's going to be a DJ Verzuz battle coming up real soon. But yeah, they had the battle, and it wasn't never really close, Sandman, from the beginning. I mean, like, you had, you know, Fat Joe obviously has a lot of songs that we love and whatnot, and some with Khaled. But Ja Rule, I think, handled him, you know, the whole night. And what made it worse last night, it was that Fat Joe was trying to win it with insults. Like, he was trying to kind of muscle him on a microphone. Like, you know, somebody was trying to muscle somebody. Like, this ain't WWE, and we talking trash and all that. And he was salty for a minute. It got heated. You know, not like Gucci and Jeezy, but tension was a little high for a minute. And then things evened out, and Ja Rule started burying the dude with the hits. I mean, totally just burying him with hits. And I think we got to give, you know, respect and flowers to Ja Rule, because, you know, as much as people talk about what 50 did and, you know, how they say he fell off and destroyed the label, he had hip-hop / R&B for a minute, bro. And he set a lot of trends and set a lot of people up and made it very popular for people to do the whole rapping and singing thing at the end of the day. So, you know, I'm going to salute the brother. And he was even joking. Fat Joe was even joking about the Fry Festival, like all types of crazy shit he was trying to say. But you know what I mean? Ja Rule was just he was just laughing and shit. Nothing he could say about that. But yeah, I just didn't like the way that Fat Joe handled himself, Sandman, at all.
Yeah, man, I didn't see it yet, but let me just speak on Ja Rule, because I remember listening to Ja Rule the first time. I believe he was with DMX and Jay-Z. And he held his own on that verse, and then he was on
yes, sir,
the song with Hove and Emil. And let me get a fuck you. I think that's
yeah. Crushed it.
Yep, did his thing, held his own on both of them, and then, like you said, when he came out, started really doing his solo thing. He revolutionized the game. Now, I was never really a Ja Rule fan per se as a youngster, because
you were singing them songs though.
50 fan, right?
Oh, okay.
But come in the club, you know what I mean? Do a thing and let every little thing that we do. Man, I was going crazy. All them sets, you know what I'm saying? Because the women liked it. He had an ear for music early on and had an understanding of who was going to listen and who the demographic and the buyer was. Mm-hmm. And understanding now the business of it, you got to just tip your hat and just call it for what it is. It was genius work, and it's no mistaking why he's still doing his entrepreneurial thing now. Like the Fire Festival, that shit's funny. We talked about that. But outside of that, I mean, he's been doing a lot of cool things, man, and doing a lot of great things, and nobody can take away from his music. Now, Fat Joe being disrespectful. Let's talk about that a little more in depth, man.
Yeah, let's talk about it, because I was watching last night and I seen that he made a statement, you know, directed toward Lil Mo and Vida. I'm going to play that statement, and a lot of people are going in about that statement right now, saying, man, we're going to dissect that, you know, in a moment. Before I get to that, though, I want to say, you know, he also, a gimmick that he did was he bought like Ashanti and Remy Ma like Birkin bags, and you know what I mean? Like it was real gimmicky for Fat Joe. Like he brought these gifts, like open them up, you know, the whole thing. But let's get to what everybody's talking about today, Sandman. Here we go.
Hold up, crack! I didn't see nobody come. Y'all see somebody come out here with me? Oh, them I didn't either. You gotta go to the crackhouse to find them bitches. Hold up, but let me tell you something, crack. I heard you say something about.
So he's referring to, in case people don't know, the novice out there that don't know hip hop like that, he's referring to Lil Mo and Vida. They both came out on the stage last night to accompany Ja Rule and perform some songs. I think that was very, very dope. And Ashanti also performed her song she did with Fat Joe. But Sam, man, I gotta throw this one to you first, man. What you think about your boy Fat Joe and his statement towards Vida and Lil Mo?
Was this man drunk? Was he drinking?
I didn't see him drinking.
All I gotta say is today's price is not yesterday's price. The stock went down, my nigga.
Yeah.
From doing some real ignorant shit. Now, we've interviewed Lil Mo, never got the pleasure of interviewing Vida, but Lil Mo can do her thing for real. Lil Mo can get up there on stage and perform and sing for real. One of the R&B queens of our generation. Now, we also know, and she's been very outspoken about her past issues and her demons that she's had to deal with. Now, we come from an era where a lot of things is all go, you know what I'm saying, all no holds barred, say what you got to say in the spirit of competition. But when you talk about legends in the game, and you talk about people that should have a certain amount of respect, you would assume that Fat Joe would have the level of respect for Vida and a Lil Mo.
For them sisters.
Not to fucking, speak on it, not to fucking say some shit like that. You know what I'm saying? But as smooth as it came out, them fucking crackhead bitches, that was so smooth and so just relaxed.
He believed that.
He meant that shit.
He meant it.
And then he was on his couch, he was comfortable, and that's some shit you say in your house when the cameras ain't on and nobody's listening to you, if that's how you really feel.
Right.
Ain't no escaping that one. He took an L on that one.
Yeah, it was bad. And then you got like, it kind of gives credence to the people that leave the comments whenever something happens with Fat Joe. They talk about, you know, how he ain't black and how, you know, why he was disrespecting black women and all that. And that's always, you know, what calls for debate. We can go back and forth all the time. And it to me, it's like, you know, we shouldn't be disrespecting women, men, anybody at all. But you ain't really trying to tolerate that from somebody else. You ain't tolerating from your own people, but you ain't trying to really tolerate that from nothing else. Not to try to make it a versus thing at all, you know what I mean? But I just got to keep it real with that aspect of it. I think it was very low of him to do. And it's like, you in battle, but you ain't got to get crazy disrespectful. You can say the other stuff. You ain't right. And stuff like that's cool. But when you say something to these women, when you know Lil Mo, she's on record already talking about dealing with this, it hit her hard because she left a post about it. Here's what she said, right? Lil Mo went on to say, I need everyone to tell Fat Joe he owes a genuine apology. I don't live in a crack house. I'm not a bitch nor a dusty, you know, street code. Women and children is off limits. Disappointed. She goes on now. Remy Ma actually came in and was obviously going to bat for Fat Joe. She wrote something under that as well, but let's just deal with this part. Lil Mo taking this whole thing a step further, like, yo, she wants an apology from Fat Joe. You think he should do it? You think he will do it?
Behind the scenes on some genuine shit.
Right.
You need to explain yourself because that was very low. We've seen boxing matches where the boxer's getting his ass whipped and then he just goes low.
That's what that was.
He went low.
Yeah.
He went very low, and he did it at the expense of women that had no right to even be put in that situation. You battling Ja Rule, excuse me, from what I heard, from what you just said, was giving him a nice, thorough ass whipping.
Oh, tearing him up.
And instead of him going ahead and playing them records and taking an L like a man, like Dipset did on stage, you go ahead and start feeding in the insults. It's very low. It's very, I don't know the word I'm looking for, but it's not very masculine. You know what I'm saying? And it kind of shows Joe's true colors. Now, I'm not gonna go into depth. I met him one time, took a picture, was very gracious, but never got to have a conversation. Don't know the man personally, but we know a lot of this music shit is fake Hollywood shit. And like I said, I think he got real comfortable and showed some of his true colors, and that's some bush league shit he did there. He deserves to give him an apology.
We're starting to think, man, you might have got pun, man. Nah, it's funny. I ain't tell you, but dude, the dude we interviewed, I'm not gonna put his name out. He kind of wants to remain anonymous. He actually sent me the court documents. I didn't go over them yet with the whole Fat Joe.
Our man?
And Big Punny. You do be interviewed him already. I ain't gonna put his name out there for now or whatever.
Okay.
The other day, I ain't really looked on him. He was kind of, alluding to that it's definitely, Mooney's old there. But I gotta dig it. It's like a 50-page document and all that. He sent me the whole court thing. But hey, we'll get it. That's another story for another time. So yeah, Remy Ma, she I was trying to get him on the show the next day. He said he had to talk to his lawyer or something. So
damn, it's like that.
Yeah, I guess. Okay. But Remy Ma, I'm not gonna read the whole thing. She pretty much said, "Stop it, Mo." No damn well join on it like that. You know what I mean? She pretty much saying like they was in the heat of the battle and whatnot. And he said Joe wasn't trying to intentionally hurt anyone. That's Remy Ma. I expect her to defend her man. I mean, Joe put her on, as he said last night, but. You got to step back on this one, Remy Ma, because you can't. If somebody says something, you can't, you know, say how they felt a minute. What if he come out and said, I meant that shit?
Yeah.
In the heat of the battle, you know what I mean? But that's just my opinion.
And it's, I mean, and I agree with you on that level. I think that, and equally, if something was disrespectful toward Remy Ma, if anything was ever said, we'd be here taking Remy Ma's side just as equally, because what he said was disrespectful, and there's no getting around that. Like, take it on the chin. If you meant it if it was ill taste, you apologize publicly because you said it publicly. You apologize publicly because that's what that woman's asking you to do, and she had a right to come on. Because see, I've had an issue with this. On people going on public forums and expressing their grievances on public forums, why not going behind the scenes? I felt this way for a long time, but a lot of people made good points around me and throughout the years. If you address it publicly, if you put it out there publicly, people, if they feel the right, have the right to address it publicly just as equally as you did. And millions of people heard him say that, laugh, and millions of people have heard her testimony and her issues. She has a right to get an apology, and she had the right to put it publicly to say it.
Yeah, and honestly, man, I think Fat Joe's a good person, and that's kind of his personality. Like, just to shoot it from the hip. But some things you kind of got to just keep, like, nah, I ain't going to say that. You could have said something else.
Yeah.
And I'm sure there's going to be people in the comments going to say y'all going too far with it. And I'm sure people going to be saying, you know, Joe, he's a Puerto Rican. Why are you talking about black women like that? We're going to see that too. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. We're not saying that Joe needs to be, quote unquote, canceled and no money needs to be taken away or anything like that. We just say that the legends that he is, he has to know better, being in this game as long as he has, that woman has had some problems. Let me fall back on that. If I want to throw a jab at Ja Rule because I'm battling Rue, that's a whole different situation. But this woman is coming on as an accent, as a feature. Don't do that.
Like she said, women and children off limits.
So
that's it. But yeah, man, we'll digress on that one, man. We definitely want to hear what you guys got to say in the comment section about this particular, you know, video, because I'm sure it's gonna be a lot of interesting comments. But overall, man, I think that the Verzuz is a great thing, and the last few battles have been epic. You gotta find the right pairing. Like, even T.I., he put a video out. He was talking about how he was talking about Swizz and them about getting in the ring with Jeezy, but he was like, people don't really want to see that. They want to see Gucci and Jeezy. And he was like, nah, that ain't gonna ever happen, but it still happened. People wanted to see like a John and a 50, like a Fat Joe, even though they cool. Fat Joe and a 50 may have been a little, but you want to see like that kind of like arch nemesis competition, Drake versus Kanye type of thing. You can't have people in there.
Hip hop, hip hop, hip hop, hip bars is back. Hip hop, Sam and oh God, what's up with you? I done watched them niggas do interview after interview. They not culture vultures, the culture something they been into. So if you never gave them a view, I recommend you do. Cause when they question guests, they message is not subliminal. It don't matter if you a rookie.